secondary road? Wow. Huh. Okay. I guess I'm going east on this road. Not coming. I like back roads. Tank. Check mileage. 5. And we're going. No trespassing. Not even for pictures. Wait for someone to show up here. Oh, I got one. This is kind of a continuation of yesterday. I had a good load yesterday. It was 250 miles deadhead and a 250-mile delivery, and I was getting paid $1 a mile for everything. So it was, mathematically, it was a great setup. And I got to my pickup, and there were 2 gigantic boxes sitting there that had I cut the boxes in half, the halves wouldn't have fit in my van. So I got canceled on that one, obviously. And then they put me back in the pool, and I waited around for about an hour, and they gave me another load to go get. Whoa, slow it down. Another load, and it was a 60-mile hop, and it turns out the place I was going was closing at 4. And as I got there, my ETA was 4. So I tried to hurry it up, and it was a big setup. It was actually on 2 sides of the street. And I found the warehouse, and there's a doorbell, and I ring it. There's no response. I'll ring it again. There's no response. And I looked in the extent of my toes, look at the glass, and there's nobody there. And I'm like, oh, crap. So then I ran around front, and I said, hey, I know you guys are closing, but I'm here for a pickup. And they says, oh, yeah, we got a guy. He's across the street unloading, so just go back. He'll come over in a few minutes. And he did. And as soon as I walked out of the building, she left and locked the door behind me. So it was a real close run thing. And I made that delivery. It was about 250 miles last night. I made that drop. Hi, back at you. Slept. And I am in just southwest of Indianapolis. And it was 50 degrees last night, which is a little shocking considering it's summertime. But it actually got cold last night. I had my windows cracked, and I had to close my windows. I was like, geez, it's a late August, 50 degrees. That is unheard of. I was thinking I was going to be happy I didn't have to get my air conditioner up. It got cold last night, and apparently it's supposed to get cold tonight. Well, they just gave me a load here around noontime. I got a good run, and I ran up the road. It took an hour and 15 minutes to get loaded, which, don't get excited. Just sit back and chill. And I got the load on board, but when I pulled in, they called me for a tomorrow load, which is totally cool. So I've already got tomorrow set up. This is about 220 miles, what I'm doing right now. Dead live miles, I'm getting 90 cents a mile, which is decent. Tomorrow, my dead live miles combined are about 130, and I'm getting a $200 flat fee for it. How do you source load? How do you source loaded loads? How do I source them? Oh, I'm operating under the company I work for. I operate under their authority, and we have a dispatch office. They keep me loaded up, and I got this one weight in here that weighs almost nothing. And I'm on this little secondary road. I'm heading straight east, still in Indiana. This is a straight east drive, and I'm on a 2-lane road for the next 57 miles, and that caught me off guard. I thought it was going to throw me. This is Highway 26, Indiana, straight eastbound. But yeah, I have the company I work for. They have the dispatch office, and if you've ever seen transportation dispatchers, they look like gamers. They've got they sit in front of like six computer screens, and what they have is they know the location of all the vehicles. They're all being tracked, and it tells you the weight they can carry and the dimensions of the interior of what can you carry, what you can't carry, and then there's notes about what the vehicle can and can't do, basically driver preferences. And I find that I understand there's certain things maybe outside the envelope, but I've read some stuff in there that's it's kind of mind-boggling. Guys will say, "Well, I only want to drive in these three states," so you're pigeonholing yourself. And there's another guy that drives for this company that says he doesn't want to do any loads over 100 miles, which is very few loads. So I don't know how that guy makes any money, because like one of the dispatchers said he found a load for him that was 120 miles close enough, and he's like, "Nah, I don't want it. Have a nice day." Hey, all right, hey, thanks. Yeah, today's been beautiful. Well, like I said, it is late August in Indiana, and it was 50 degrees last night. I was taken aback by that. I had my windows cracked, and I was actually getting cold in the van because I don't have my heavy bag with me right now. It's a cute little town, but for some reason, it's running me through. I mean, this town doesn't even appear on the map. Jeez, I don't even know what this is. Oh, Roseville, Ross. I'm in Rossville, Indiana, passing through eastbound, but they're running me. This seems like a slow way to go, but GPS says go this way. So here we are. See the golf cart on the left? One of those communities. So I am currently en route to Bellefontaine, Ohio. But I got to do 55 freaking miles on this little 2-lane road to get to Interstate 69 and then head north. The good side of it, good weather today, but we are right, 0 a.m. Oh, wow. What part of the world is that? It's 1 o'clock in the morning. One thing about these little towns is a lot of them in the last few years, they've cleaned them up quite a bit. They make them look nice. And, 25 years ago, I used to drive to little towns and they were just worn out, semi-abandoned. They looked really bad. But these days, I'm seeing a lot of towns, they took the time to upgrade their downtown area. Now, once we get up here, this is a flashing stop sign. I'll show you what I mean. But I did not anticipate 50 miles of this. Good God Almighty! Yeah, it's what 3:30 here. 3:30 after. I'm on the Eastern time zone. See how they took all these old buildings right here? They didn't really change the facades, but they cleaned them up, made them a little bit different. Kept them clean, made them look nice. What my wife and I is like to buy like the top floor of one of these and turn it into a house. Uh, the one building there says 1913 on it, so that's how old that building is. One of the other ones say, "Oh, we got a Mason's symbol on the big one there." Yeah, but they do stuff like that. It looks kind of cool. Oh my God, I did not anticipate this. I thought we were going to roll. Bro, wow, you got a lot of symbols on your keyboard I don't have. Arnie's Pizza, Salad, and Sandwiches. Hey, Arnie. All right, hold on. Come on, people, you're killing me with this stop sign. All right, here we go. Whee! Leaving Rossville, Indiana, eastbound, going towards whatever the heck is on the horizon here. Small town America. There's two people walking down the side of the street carrying little tiny cat carriers. We had to take our cats to the vets to get them shots, and they're indoor cats, and pick them up when I walked out the front door, and they both started whining. They didn't like that one bit. They were not happy about the idea of having to go somewhere. They were just angry. My wife is looking at his, I think today, sophomore, but solid. Yeah, that's 69 soft. Uh-huh. My my wife is buying a catio today, which is think of it as a fancy chicken coop, and you put it outside in your backyard, and you put a hole in the wall with a doggy door, a little tiny door. Yeah, it's a cute little town. I was pretty happy with it going through. But a catio is like an enclosed. It's got a roof over it, but it's like a chicken coop, and you let the cats can go through the cat door, which is up high, and they go on. They could be outdoors, out of the sun, but they got the air and whatnot to play with. Enjoy the outdoors. And they could do it on their dime because we have to take the cats out once in a while in the backyard. We have a courtyard at the back of our house. We'll run them around out there. But now we put that in and let them do their thing. Come in and out and say, please. Yeah, this is Midwest. This is classic Midwest. 2-lane road, older farmhouses, and lots of farmland. That's corn on the left, and I have no idea what that is on the right. But it's late enough in the day that the sun is behind us. Yeah, I dropped my load. I dropped off last night. Uh, the forklift driver was a woman, mid late 60s, and her name was Debbie Dalton, and she looked like she could be the saloon owner in a western. The name and her appearance was like she should have been in a cowboy and Indian movie somewhere. Her whole aura about her. And who knows, maybe she was a retired actress, but she definitely gave that vibe. She's a real nice woman, really nice lady for the brief moment I spoke with her. Let's go for it. You can tell when the humidity is low because the clouds are chiseled. Down in Texas, where it's super humid, they don't look like that. They look kind of blurry, for lack of a better word. But like I said, corn on the left. Oh, now we got corn coming up on the right. And I don't know if this is human consumption or feed corn because they give to animals. It's getting tall, though. Wow. Your corn's, they say it needs to be knee high by the 4th of July. And I was using that measurement in July, and that was about where it was at. Now it's, I would say, 6 feet tall at this point. And Sedalia. This little town coming up says Sedalia. Again, eastbound on Highway 26 in Indiana. We are east of Indianapolis, and our destination is Bellefontaine, Ohio. Well, I don't know, some kind of a plant there. Right front. And on the upside, the sun's behind us, which makes visibility a little bit nicer. And that big building on the left, that's a grain silo. And these little towns have those. Every little town has a collection of grain silos. You speed. Oh, lost everybody. All right. I run a radar detector, even though I don't consider myself a speeder. But this is where it comes in handy. I'm doing way over the 30-mile-an-hour speed limit right now. I'm just drifting through town here. All right, picking it back up. The direct delivery, single pallet, drop 25 miles. I'm not sure which direction I go when I have a 6 a.m. pickup going 100 miles with a and that gives me enough time to get back on the border, which is kind of my. That bug won't do that again. Somebody spent some time, money, and energy putting in those new fancy light poles on the right. Those are steel. Those are the new newfangled ones. What form for the is okay for secondary roads. Was look, he's living in New York, and they come out like they do all kinds of you know, do you have enough space? Do you have enough, sunlight based on your trees and or blah blah blah. They did a test. They said you are in a prime spot for solar. And he said you can over your barn in this New York that will give subsidies to somebody who opens a solar farm. Won't allow a private homeowner to produce solar beyond 110% of their need, which I don't know what its need is, but he said 110% is 30% of one side of the barn. Doesn't want you being a power producer because basically they can't manipulate you. They can't control you. And the power companies, of course, it's politics. The power companies give all their money to the campaigns of the people they want, and all of a sudden, all these little people start making electricity and more or less selling it back to the power company. They're going to start losing money. If they're losing money, they can't pay campaign contributions. So the whole solar thing in New York is all wrapped up in kickbacks and bribes and all kinds of garbage. Very disappointing to hear that when they spout this, solar awesomeness is like the whole conversation. Oh my God, all we're going to do is let's have solar this and so, but they're not really doing it. They're just doing it when it benefits themselves in political power. Some really idiotic way of doing things. You would think they would be encouraging people to put solar arrays up and to plug it back into the power grid. You would think that would be like my cousin some time on that. And when they dropped that bomb in his lap, he just went. They got no problem with you digging and making a solar field out of it, but putting solar panels on, sure, they won't change anything as far as farmability or appearances or anything. No way, no. I say. Another 47 miles down this road. Go. We got 4 people on here. What part of the world is everybody from? I always ask that question. At nighttime, I get people from the other side of the planet, which I kind of get a kick out of. Uh, I'm going to run this for about an hour to see what the terrain looks like, and then I'm going to have to stop for fuel. Gas is pricey around here. It's $3.49, $3.39. It's kind of pricey for what I've been paying recently. Again, corn on the right, about 6 feet tall. Another small field of an unknown product. So next month is September, and that's when my cousin's going to be pulling grapes late in the month. And he has, there's basically 2 kinds of grapes they've ever dealt with, are Concord and wine grapes. And wine grapes are a lot softer and they need to be cut by hand because you can't shake them off the vine. And the Concords, they have a machine that basically a tall tractor that stands over the row and has, for lack of a better word, fingers that shakes the pea out of the vine, and they have little conveyor belts that catches what falls. Yeah, plus, you know, I remember as a kid, I'd seen it in action. It's kind of interesting to watch. All right, dude, you were first. Go, go, dude. You were first. Go. Oh, it's better than a traffic light. Ooh, next town, Russiaville. There's a cool name, Russiaville. Took a picture of a truck in a parking lot the other day. The fender well was rusted out. The owner put duct tape between the plastic trim around the wheel and the metal above. It was being held on by 3 or 4 strips of duct tape. And I sent it to a friend of mine, my buddy who does restores the classic cars. And I just sent the picture and said, dude, you've been doing it wrong. He said, yeah, I know. Little, little duct tape will do you. There is a chunk of highway that looks very much like this. Near Kingman, Arizona, and it's a chunk of old Route 66. Kind of goes out in the middle of nowhere, and it's very little travel on it. And I followed it with the wife, and we zigzagged around and came around the corner, and we were in the middle of absolutely nowhere. And there were 3 or 4 1950s esque hotels with that 1950s vibe, and they were actually open, which I don't know how they get business, being that they're kind of off the map at that point. But people that nostalgically drive Route 66 would probably scout those out. But they had that big, flamboyant hotel of the era look to it. It was kind of cool. And there was a old timey hotel we stayed in the town of Tucumcari, New Mexico. My wife and I stopped through there, and we found one. And we got in there late, and the owner was like, you're going to get here at 10 o'clock at night. He goes, the door's closed, you're in room, whatever. We'll leave the door unlocked so you can just go in. I'm like, all right, cool. And we walked in the room, and God is my witness, it was stepping into 1961. The furniture, the bedding, the music playing on the TV was all early 60s. And it had a really good the bedstands and lamps, the colors, the bathroom, everything screamed 61, 62 somewhere in there. And that was it was a neat feeling to find someone who was able to outfit something so wonderfully. Gee, it, to keep on boogieing down here. We're doing 60. We're not really tearing it up right now. This is one of these areas where you pull up behind a tractor, motor along at 20 miles an hour with a line of cars behind it. It was kind of nice. We're not seeing that right now. To be honest, there's a lot of these little adventures you bump into that pretty regular. Good fancy farm. Slight crosswind going on right now. Here we are. This is Russiaville up here. We're getting close. I watched a. I spend a lot of my free time walking around, and I listen to YouTube, and I watch YouTube going down the road. And the guy made an interesting comment. He said, "There's all these complaints about there being the National Guard is deployed in Washington D.C., which is a very small area. And I looked it up. They had 200 and something murders last year." But the guy said, they've been there for 11 days, and in 11 days, there's been no murders. He goes, so them being there is actually saving lives at this point. He goes, so what's the argument against it? It's like, he's got a point. Russiaville. Got big yards. I see a flashing stop sign coming up. Seems every small town in America has a, whoa, dude, a Dollar General. There was a dude, oops, down to zero. At least your gas is a quarter cheaper. Do, do. 38 miles. And through it. Waddles, IGA. Oh, God, that guy's got an old school TV antenna on top of the building. The old spread out ones. I haven't seen one of those in decades. I don't even think they transmit TV wireless. I mean, they might. I don't know. But wow, I haven't seen one of those on top of a house in decades. Some old train station. Washington. 32, 38. 38 miles to go down this road. Highway 26 eastbound in Indiana, heading towards Interstate 69 North, 37 miles to go. I didn't realize it was going to run me this far down a two-lane road, but here we are. And our destination today is Bellefontaine, Ohio, with a single pallet on board. And they already gave me my load for tomorrow morning, which is kind of cool. I enjoy having loads piled up like that. You know where you're going and what you're doing. Little short run. The little short runs per mile pay really well. The overall amount of money's not all that much, but the amount of time, money, energy, and fuel is limited to do them. So that helps. I keep slowing down on me. I use the Fetch app. I've talked about it on here before, and it's basically taking pictures of receipts and giving you a certain amount of credit. You build up points, and you take the points and you cash it out. You can send it for gift cards, and it gives you all kinds of options. And what I do consistently is I move it to Amazon, and you need 12,500 points to get $10. And it takes a little time to build up. And some receipts are worth a lot. Some receipts are worth basically nothing. And the nothing receipts are 25 points is the absolute minimum you could get from a receipt. And I had shot a bunch that I had, and I need 12.5. I had 12,493. I literally needed 7 points to get over the line. I didn't have anything I needed to buy, so I spent the night at a Love's, and I went around the parking lot for 15 minutes, and I finally found a receipt laying on the ground. That's literally what I looked for. And I went click, and then I got the numbers I needed and was able to cash my $10. And then that $10 supplements other little coupon things we do. And that's how I buy the oil I use in this van. I buy it online. It's way cheaper to order it online than to go into a store and pick it up by hand. So instead of spending $100 to $110 on a synthetic oil change, I do it myself. I get filters online, I get the oil online, and I have an oil pan. It's some basic tools. And I just did my oil change like a week ago. So I'm good for a little while. Ready. Say, don't you pull out. Don't you pull out. Keep an eye on you. Alright. Not exactly holding them in today. I'm going to go ahead and bail off here. I got to stop for a few.